Welcome, this is MCG Tech with a review of the Sapphire Radeon HD 4850 X2. When this beast of a card came into the recycling plant, it immediately grabbed my attention. In this review, I will be sharing some synthetic and gaming benchmarks as well as some interesting history about the card. The Radeon HD 4850 X2 was announced alongside the HD 4870 X2 in August 2008, and later released on November 4th with the sole support of Sapphire as a board partner. Rather than using a blower design, Sapphire chose to use a dual fan cooler, which was better but still very loud. This cooler was also known for allowing the 4850 X2 to be a decent overclocker. This card was sold at a price of $420, $110 cheaper than the 4870 X2. For the price of the 4850 X2, you got GDDR3 instead of GDDR5, and a lower core clock. Its main competitor, however, was the NVIDIA GTX 280, which traded blows in terms of core clock and memory clock. For specifications, the HD 4850 X2 features dual RV770 GPUs and 2GB total of memory. Additionally, it has a 625 MHz core clock and 2x800 shader units. I am curious to see how this card holds up in modern titles and whether or not the drivers aged well. Without further ado, let's get into the benchmarks. Starting with synthetics, I ran the Passmark 3D graphics test, where the HD 4850 X2 scored 1,564, placing it in the 48th percentile. Throughout the rest of this review, keep in mind the test bench specs include a Core i7-980, 16GB of DDR3 RAM, and a 750-watt PSU. Next, I attempted to run the Opengl Test on Cinebench R15. However, every time I tried, it froze on this screen. Blender, Geekbench, and Unigine Superposition also failed to run on this card. For my final synthetic, I ran the Unigine Heaven benchmark at high settings while using the DirectX 11 API, leading to a score of 866 and an average FPS of 34.4. Transitioning over to games, I played Elite Dangerous at 1080p high settings. Even though this game is known for its crossfire support, it still clearly put a lot of pressure on the graphics card. The 16 FPS minimums were definitely noticeable and gameplay was not enjoyable. CSGO ran well on the HD 4850 X2, peaking at 81 FPS. Testing was done on the CSGO benchmark map, which tests the card in a variety of situations, such as explosions and shooting. Considering this card's age, I was happy to see it could play CSGO, especially because the game has been getting more bloated. Rocket League did decently at high settings, not quite reaching 60 FPS. Although this game was playable, I was hoping for some more fluid results considering how easy this game is to run. To summarize, in the benchmarks that Sapphire HD 4850 X2 was able to perform, it did admirably. Producing playable frame rates in CSGO and Rocket League, I was glad to see this card isn't completely obsolete. That being said, there are some compromises to keep in mind. Driver support for Windows 10 is basically non-existent and is definitely hurting performance. Additionally, the card gets very loud while under load. Another thing to keep in mind, if you have a small case, is that the HD 4850 X2 is an abnormally long card due to the inclusion of 2 GPUs. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Also feel free to check out the rest of the content on this channel. Thank you for watching.